Hello everybody, Ian back with another video. Today is just another reading update on what I read. I finished up this one today, and I started this in December and I was just picking it up here and there. It is a reread of one of my favorite books of all time, so I was just picking it up here and there, and then I didn't really have anything. I was waiting for some books in the library. I still am. And I didn't want to really start anything new until I get those books in, which I did pick up a few. My hair's a mess. Ugh. We have Stephen Hunter, Pale Horse Coming. I read this back in high school. Actually. I read this back in high school and loved it. It was my favorite book for the longest time. And I wanted to reread it. It's still very good. A fun, action-packed story. It's basically if you guys have seen the movie Shooter with Mark Wahlberg, he plays Bob Lee Swagger, and his dad Earl Swagger was the star of these books. And Bob Lee has a few books out. By Stephen Hunter put some Bob Lee books out, but this is the second in the Earl Swagger series. Basically, this is 1951, and Earl Swagger gets picked up basically by some local cops and taken to a prison colony, basically, where all sorts of misjustice is happening. And he escapes and decides he's going to come back with some of his own gunslingers and right some wrongs. So it was very fun, very, very fun. I read next Clive Cussler and Dirk Cussler, Treasure of Khan, a Dirk Pitt novel. I have some love-hate. Some of these books are great. I should say a few of these books are great. This is number 19. I believe that's 19. And I have not enjoyed a majority of them, but I think there was three or four that I loved. So I got to continue. They're very fast paced. I can get done with this in a few days. I could put about 100 pages on these things in a day, in a sitting. So I don't know. They read super fast. But again, this one was nothing to write home about. This is a 2-star. Basically, an oil baron. He finds Kublai Khan, Genghis Khan's tomb, and all these treasures in it, and he wants to basically put Mongolia on the map again as a superpower. And that starts with basically oil that he finds, and he's doing bad things, and Dirk Pitt has to put a stop to it. But that's Treasure of Khan. New author I read, Cartel Hunter by Robert Galuba. This is basically, we have a Air Force pararescue, Jason Mulder. He returns home because some of his family is murdered by a drug cartel who's operating in the northern Arizona wilderness, and nobody can find these guys, so he comes back looking for revenge. It's your typical action thriller. It was okay. That's all I can say. It was okay. It's pretty short. All right, and I did pick up one book. I purchased one book, Stinger by Robert R. McCammon. Classic 80s horror book. Basically a small Texas town, I believe. It's in Texas, I think. Yeah, a remote Texas town has an alien visitor and it just wreaks havoc on this town. So, love it. Love it. And then I went to the library. I was waiting on this book because I'm going to pick this one up pretty soon here. We've got Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, a John Clark novel. I did read Without Remorse. That was the first one. It was okay, but I've heard Rainbow Six is fantastic. And it's an 800-page romp, so I'm going to take some time on that one. And then I also got Without Honor by David Hagberg. If you don't know, David Hagberg, Countdown, I believe, is the second in this series. That was the first thriller book I've ever read. I started out reading Stephen King and would just read exclusively Stephen King. And Countdown, given to me my late great uncle, and he gave me this one, or not this one. He gave me Countdown, and that opened up for the thrillers that I've been getting into. So this is number one in the Kirk McGarvey, and basically he's brought back to the CIA after 5 years to find a mole from Russia. This was written in '89, so the tensions with the United States and Russia were high. So they're the villains. And last but certainly not least, and I am loving this reread, we got Valor by John Gwynne. We are rereading this with a bunch of people on Amy's Discord. So, yeah, John Gwynne, Valor, number 2 in the Faithful and the Fallen series, and absolutely loving it. And I'm going to sit down after this, while this is uploading, and read more. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.